iPhone 15 versus iPhone 14 Pro. Let's compare these two phones in every single way possible to find out which one you should buy. As always, let's begin by talking a little bit about the exterior design. As you can see, the iPhone 15 has a fairly rectangular design with straight edges, and it's made out of aluminum and glass, like the past 6 or 7 iPhones. I'm sure that whether you're an Apple fan or not, you will agree that this is a very nice design and that it feels very good in your hand if you've ever had it in your hand. But the iPhone 14 Pro takes it a little bit further because although it maintains the same rectangular shape, it's made out of better materials using stainless steel instead of aluminum, and it also has better finishes, which may not be apparent at first when you see the phones through a YouTube video, but when you have them both in your hands, you can definitely notice the iPhone 14 Pro is just more premium, it's more expensive. But I have to say, on the other hand, that the iPhone 15, even though it's not as premium, is a little bit more ergonomic. As many of you know, it has received a slight redesign with the new 15 series, and it now has a slightly curved edge around the phone, which makes it a little bit more comfortable to hold. It's not a deal breaker. It's not going to make it 50,000 times better, but it's just a little bit more easy to hold, I guess. But anyways, let's move on to the internal components, where there's not that much of a comparison to make because they both have the same A16 Bionic processor, which, as many of you know, is blazing fast, incredibly reliable, and when you pair it with Apple's crazy optimization of hardware and software, you get an almost unbeatable experience, except for the iPhone 15 Pro, of course, which has the new A17 Pro processor. Needless to say, since they both have the same internal components, performance between these two is going to be absolutely identical. And if you notice any differences, they are likely just caused by a specific software update being slightly less optimized for one of the phones. Oh, and by the way, this has nothing to do with the processor, but I felt like you should know, both of these phones, the 15 and the 14 Pro, right now have incredibly good prices on Amazon. I left a direct link in the description for both, just in case at the end of the video you want to buy them or check them out, and I do recommend it because, as I said, they have insanely good prices. But anyways, let's keep going. It's time to talk about the battery life on both of these phones, which is almost identical. There is, funny enough, only a 1% advantage for the 15 as opposed to the 14 Pro, which, as I said earlier, is probably due to a specific software update and could very easily be flipped in a couple of months. So I don't really feel comfortable declaring the 15 as a winner against the 14 Pro. When it comes to the actual battery life, it is pretty good on both phones. It is not godly like on the Pro Max and Plus models, but it will get you through the day very comfortably, and you can always wirelessly charge it for a couple minutes midday to get a little bit more out of it, and you'll be fine. One of the most interesting components on the new iPhone 15 is the new display, because it has the same super bright 2000 nit brightness panel we have on the iPhone 14 Pro, and it also has the same size bezels all around, so you would think that maybe it is the same display. Maybe Apple finally upgraded their base model displays to support high refresh rate like on the Pro models. But no, it has the exact same display as on the 14 Pro with the exception of the refresh rate, which is locked to 60 Hertz. Apple, we have to talk because this has just become incredibly absurd. I got it with the iPhone 12, with the 13, fine. It's a new technology and you want to save it for the Pro models, okay. But it's 2023, about to be 2024. Even $200 Xiaomi phones have 120 Hertz now, and there's absolutely no excuse for you not to include it on any of your phones, which are way more expensive. But anyways, it's time to talk about the most important part of the comparison, the camera comparison. As you can see, I have the iPhone 15 here, the iPhone 14 Pro here, and they're both absolutely identical.